Okay, so today we are going to talk about page layouts. Okay, so far we have talked about data management, we have talked about user management. Now, there's one more aspect that we are going to discuss here, which is the page layout. Okay, so first of all, page layout is basically a simple option for customizing your user interface. Okay, um, the users basically view the data. I'm sorry. The users view the data through the pages, all right, and you have the option to customize what will they view, and the layout of the page layout of the pages also can be defined by you, like which field appears at the top, which one should not appear at the top, and which all fields you want to show, which fields you do not want to show, that sort of thing. Okay, so that is done using page layout. Okay, so you guys might have noticed that when we create an object in Salesforce, automatically creates a page for that particular object. It creates pages for that object. Let me just show it to you. Give me a moment. Let me log in into Salesforce. Right, here we are. Now, let me just go to the project management app that we were creating. Now, in this project management app, we just created the objects and tabs. All right, like for projects. We just created the objects and tabs. The pages were automatically created by Salesforce, correct? Now, when you click on a new uh, project button, you see this is the page layout which has got created automatically. Or when you click on an existing project, this is another page layout. This is another page which has been created by Salesforce. All right, so all these pages we never defined them, right? These were automatically created. Now Salesforce gives you an option to customize these layouts. Okay, like for this page, if you see, all the data is appearing in one column in the left hand side. There is nothing here. Okay, so by default all the data has come on this side. There's no data here. All right, now what you can do, you can basically go and edit the layout of this page to set where the data where the fields should appear. Okay, which field should appear where and all. Okay, that can be done. So we can actually customize these pages using the page layout option. So now let's quickly have a look at what all we can do with page layouts. So this page layout is gonna allow you to set position of fields, which field appears where in the page. That's something which can be done. It will also allow you to remove fields from page. Certain fields that you do not want to display, you can remove it from the page layout as well. It will allow you to make fields required or read only. Okay. It will also allow you to work with the related list. You can set order of the related lists. What is a related list? Related list is basically the list of child records. This one. Okay. So if there are multiple related lists under a certain on a certain page, then you have the option to order the related list, set the order for the related list, which one will appear first and which one comes next. That is okay. So that's something which can be done. Okay. Uh, it also allows you to remove related lists in case you don't need them. It allows you to choose the fields of related lists. Now, for the related lists which are being displayed, what all fields you want to display, that also can be set using the page layout. Like in this case, you can just see the assignment number. If you need other field information about the assignments, that can also be done using page layout. All right. So you can select which all fields you want to show on this page layout from the related list. That can also be controlled. All right. So this is what you can do using the page layout. So let's quickly see how do we do these things one by one. So first of all, you'll have to go to the page layout. First thing that we need to do, we just need to go to the page layout. How do we go to the page layout? We'll go to setup, and then click on customize, and no, customize. We are actually changing page layout for project object. Then go to create. If it's for a standard object, then you can go to customize and then the standard object. It's project object, right? So go to setup, create objects. We are talking about the project object here. Click on this. Okay. You can do a control F to find the page layout. Here it is. You can scroll down or you can just do it a control F to find the page layouts. Here is the page layout, okay, for this object. Basically, if you scroll down a little, you will get to see this page layouts. Click on edit. Okay, now this is the page layout. This is the screen where you can edit your page layout. See, okay. Now, if you want to move a field, you just need to, drag that field and move it wherever you want. See, budget of the project should be here. Type should be here. Client you want to be displayed here. That should be here. Okay. Now I have actually set the position of the fields, right? If you want client name to appear at the top, drag and bring it here. You want it in the second position, just drag and bring it here, the way you want. All right. So this is how you can actually change the position of the fields. So changing position of the fields is something that we have seen. Removing fields from the page. If you don't want to show some field on the page, let's say you don't want to show the budget on the page, you can just go and remove this from the page. Okay, click on remove, it will get removed. If you don't want this budget field, just click on remove, the field gets removed from the page. Got it? Now when I say remove a field from here, it's basically just hiding the field from the page layout. It's actually not deleting the field. Got it? So it's something which is just happening on the user interface. Field in the object still remains. Alright. You want the field back, you can actually drag it back from the fields here. Okay, so if you remove any field, it will go and sit here. You can drag and bring it back. Okay, so it's a temporary remove, or you're just hiding it, not making it visible on the page layout. That's it. You're not deleting the field actually. All right. The third option that we have is we can also make the fields required or read only. All right. So we also have an option of making the fields required or read only. How do you make a field required here? Required means a mandatory field, right? Now there's an option of making a field required on while creating the field. While you create the field, there's a checkbox which says make this field required, right? Now that apart from that option, there is one more option of making a field required, which is from the page layout. So see, these two fields are required with the star marks. All right. So this one was required by default, and this is what we have created it as a required field. Maybe because it's a master detail, it's required, right? Apart from this, if you just want to make a field required here, you can just go to that particular field. Let's say start date is a required field. Go to start date and click on this icon, properties icon here, and click on required. You can also make a field read only if you want to make it. Okay, click on required, click on OK, field is ready, click on save, done. Okay, now if you go to this project, you try to create a new project, you will see that the start date field is also required. See, okay, so it was not required, when I created the field, this field was not required, but I made it required on the page layout. Got it? So that is the thing. So we have both the options. You can make a field required while creating the field. You can make a field required on the page layout. Can you think of a difference between making field required while creating it and making a field required on the page layout? Is there a difference between these two things? Functionally, will they behave slightly different, or they are both going to be same? What do you think? A field which has been made required at the time of creation, a field which has been made required on the page layout. Will there be any difference? Okay, try and understand this. how many ways you know so far in which the data can get into the system? How many ways are we aware of so far? Data gets into the system through how many ways? So far we have been talking about two things, two ways, right? There can be multiple ways, but so far we are talking about two ways. One is the data gets into the system through these pages, manual entry, yes, and the other one that we have seen is a data loader, correct? Now, uh, this one, the start date field has been made required on the page layout, which means this required functionality will work only when the data is getting into the system through this page layout. Correct? This field will not be required when the data is getting into the system through data loader, because data loader is not using this page layout, right? You have defined this field as required on the page, right? So if you are using this page, then this field is going to be required. If you are actually entering the data through data loader, this will not be required. Got it? However, these two fields are uh, globally required, not globally, sorry, universally required. Sorry, universally required. So these two fields are called universally required. What's a universally required field? A universally required field is one which is always required, no matter the data is coming through a manual entry or through a data loader or through a program or through an API. So every time it is required. Fine, makes sense. So that is the difference. So if you make a field required on the page layout, then that will be required only if the data is being entered through that page. If it is being entered through backend or through data loader or any other options, then it will not be required. Okay, so that's the difference. Now let's work with the related list. We can also set the order of the related list, remove the related list, and choose the fields of the related list. So let's just go ahead and work that. Setting order and removing related list is pretty simple. Here we are. Click on edit. Okay. So just below the normal fields, you will see the related list. Now you also have the option of setting the order for the related list. Currently, there is only one related list. Let me bring a few more here. So if you click on related list here, you will get to see all the related list. Just drag and bring notes and attachments. Okay. Now there are two. Okay. Files, the related content. Okay. Now if you just want to, let's say this way you have multiple related lists and you want to control which one should appear at the top and all. You want to set the order for this, you can just drag and set the order. That's pretty easy. you want to show notes and attachments at the top, you can just take it here. All right. And if you want to remove some of the related lists, you don't want to show them on the page, just click on this remove related list button, and that's it. Remove. All right. Now, if you want to select which all fields will appear from the related list on this page, you can do that by clicking on this properties icon. Like assignment is a related list now. For assignment, currently I just get to see the assignment number. I want to see a few other fields also on this page. All that you need to do, you just need to go and click on this properties here, and then I'll just need to click on this properties here, and then I will go ahead and so currently see there's only one selected field, which is assignment number. You want the duration of the assignment to be displayed here, bring it here. You want subject, total spend, start date, and subject. You want to set the order of these fields. Okay, first of all, assignment number, start date, duration, spend, subject. All right, that's it. You want to control the sorting of the records. Sort them based on duration or start date. Okay, let us sort them based on the start date in ascending order. Click on OK. All right. So now in the related list, you will see assignment number, you will see the start date of the assignment, duration, total spend, subject. Save the page layout. Page layout saved. Now go to the projects. Open any one project here. Okay, do you see this? All right. So this is how it is. This is how it goes. Fine. All right. Now, creating a new page. The next thing that we are going to talk about is creating a new page. So Salesforce, by default, we have seen that by default Salesforce has created one page for us, right? Now, you might want to have multiple pages. Now, why would I need multiple pages for the same object? Why do you think I will need multiple pages for the same object? Let's say for project. Now for project, I have got one page. Salesforce gives me an option to create one more page or multiple pages. I can create more pages for the same object. Why do you think we will create multiple pages for the same object? Ultimately, one user is going to view the data through one page only, right? Why would we need multiple pages? For different profiles. Okay, we have seen that there are different profiles of the users. You might need different page layouts for different profiles. Got it? So Salesforce allows you to have different page layouts for different profiles. Like there can be a profile which for let's take the example of accounts. Okay. Now you can have the sales team which would like to see the phone number at the top, and then you can have the customer support team which would like to see the website at the top. Okay, so you have different profiles, and sometimes you'll have the requirement of providing different page layouts to different profiles. Okay, based on their requirement. Some profiles will would like to see all the fields. Some profiles would just need to see a few fields. Right. So that can be controlled with multiple page layouts. So to create a page layout, it's the same navigation. You just have to go to the same page layout option. So you just go to setup, create objects, click on the project object, and go to the page layouts. And click on new page layout. All right. So we already have one. You can create one more. Call it a new page layout. And put a name for this. Give it a name, whatever you want. Page layout name can be page one, whatever. Okay, you can clone it from an existing page layout. So by default, it is going to copy all the attributes of the existing page layout, and then you can edit them. Okay, now you can make a few changes here. Let's say there is another profile. I don't want to show them the budget field, so I'll just remove the budget field from here. Okay. And any other changes that I want to make, I can do that and then click on save. Alright, now I have got two page layouts for the same object. Right? When there are two page layouts for the same object, now the question is which one will the user get to see? There are two page layouts. When the user goes and clicks on a project record, the record is going to open in which page layout? In this layout or this layout? Which one is going to be used? So that is something which is controlled by the system administrator. So it depends on which page layout has been assigned to the profile of the user. Correct. So page layout assignment option is here. Now the system administrator, if there are multiple page layouts, if there is just one page layout, then this page layout assignment concept doesn't come into picture, because there is only one. Everyone will obviously get to see that page layout only. However, if there are multiple users, if there are multiple page layouts, then this page layout assignment concept comes into picture. You click on page layout assignment, and then you will see a complete list of all the profiles, and against each profile you have a page layout assigned. Here is, these are all the profiles that we have seen earlier. Corresponding to each profile there is the page layout assigned. Okay, let's say for junior administrator you want to assign this is a profile that we created. For this profile I want the other page layout to be active. So just click on edit assignment. Go to this record, select it, and from here go and select the page layout. That's it. Got it. So for others, the default page project layout is enabled, and for this particular profile, this page layout is enabled. So when the users from this profile are going to open the record, it's going to open in this page layout. That's how simple it is. Okay, so now you have the option of having different page layouts for different users. Some users will see all the data. Some users will see, in some page layouts you will display all the fields. In some page layouts you can remove some of the fields in some page layouts. You can make a few fields required based on your requirement. You will design different page layouts for different profiles. Again, as I said, it's not that always we'll have to have different page layouts for different profiles. If we have a requirement, in case we have that kind of a requirement, then we can do that. Okay. If we feel that everyone can see the same page layout and same set of data, then we don't need to really create multiple page layouts. Then things are manageable with one single page layout also. All right. This thing comes into picture only if you are talking about multiple different views for different profiles, in case you may require that. All right. Okay. So now we have seen how do we edit the page layout and how do we manage multiple page layouts. Correct. Okay. Now we are going to talk about a very interesting concept which is called a record type. Okay. So for record type, first of all, we'll have to understand a bit of concept, and then we'll see what exactly it is and how we are actually implementing it. So let me ask you a question here. Okay, this is the database. This is the data model that we designed for our application, right? I hope everyone remembers this. Now here, I am just gonna talk about the project object. Okay, so there's one object which is called project object, and for project object, let me just take it in a different spreadsheet so that we can have a clear view of this. Now, in this, we talked about these fields, right? So these are the fields that we require. Okay. So we have name, start date, end date, actual end date, budget, project manager, all these things, client. Okay. Now, let's say there are two types of projects that we work on. We work on internal projects and we work on client projects. We work on internal projects and we work on client projects. Okay, there are two types of projects which we have. Okay. Okay. Now we have got internal projects. Now for internal projects, I don't need this field called client. Do I need this? No, because obviously there will not be any client. That's an internal company project. For internal project, I don't need a field called hourly rate because I'm not charging it to the client. So hourly rate is also not required. Right? Budget of the project is also not required. Okay. So all the fields that I need are these. And apart from these fields, I need, let's say, one more field called department, which is a text, let's say. Okay. So let's say these are the fields that I need for internal projects. For client projects, I need all these fields. Okay, but I don't need the department in that case. Okay. All right. So do you see this? What we have here, we have got two different types of records getting into the system, and the fields are also different. For internal project, I need department. For client project, I need a client. Right? For client project, I have an hourly rate which I do not have for internal project. Right? Now, if you have this kind of requirement, it can happen, in a lot of database scenarios. the data getting into the object can be of different types. So some fields which are required in one type of the data will not be required on the other type of the data. Now, what do you think? Should we create two different objects for managing projects now, because I'm actually having two different types of projects? Shall I create two different types of two different objects for storing this data? One for internal object, one for client object. Should we use two different objects? Because the fields are also different. If you see, department field is here, but it's not here. Client field is here, but it's not here. We think we should use two different objects for these two types of records. What will be the problem if I have two different objects? When we initially designed it, we thought about just one type of project. Now the customer says that no, see, you know what, I need internal projects and client projects to be stored. Now, if I create two tables here, one for internal projects and one for client projects, what can be the challenge? Can you think of a challenge? One, obviously, first challenge, or the simplest one, is definitely we are actually increasing the number of tables. So, we are actually making the database a little more complex or something, fine. Okay, so we are actually increasing the number of objects. That's definitely one thing that I would not want to do. Apart from that, can we think about any other reason? If I create two different objects, one for internal, one for client project. The other problem will be that even if you do not mind creating one more object, but if you create those two different objects, managing other things is going to be very difficult for you. Because see, it's not just about the project object. The project object is actually associated with other objects also, like assignments and consultants who is working on which project, right? So your project object is related to other objects. If you now create two different objects just to store your projects, it is going to be difficult for you to connect your assignments and consultants with that project object, with the two different project objects, right? So we'll have to have one project object, and we also have to accommodate this kind of a requirement where different types of records require different fields. Okay, so now what do? We basically need to introduce the record types here. Okay, so what happens with the record type, I'll let you know first. Okay, what we can do, we are gonna create two different record types. Okay, we will create two different record types. By default, there is only one master record type for the records. We will create two different record types. The data remains in the same project object. We'll create two different record types, internal and client projects. Okay, then we will create two different page layouts. Okay, one will be internal and one will be client. Okay, on the internal page layout, page layout for the internal record type, we are going to show the fields which are relevant to internal projects. And on the record type, on the page layout for the client project, client record type, we are going to show the fields which are relevant to the client. So basically what I'm talking about is, ultimately we are talking about creating two different page layouts. That's what we just saw, that we can remove some fields and all that stuff, right? That's exactly what we're going to use. That logic we're going to use here. All right. So let's say this is for internal projects and this is for client projects. Got it? Now we are just going to, display the fields which are relevant to the internal projects in this page layout, and the fields which are relevant to the client project, those will be displayed here. Okay. So when the end user opens a record, tries to create a record, Salesforce will first of all ask the end user which type of record you want to create. You want to create an internal or a client project. And if he selects internal, he gets to see the fields which are relevant to internal. If he selects client, he gets to see the fields which are relevant to the client project. That's it. Got it? So that's how simple it is. So this is the concept. So let's quickly do this. I think we'll need a couple of fields to be created. So I'll just make a bit of changes, or I'll just introduce one extra field. You guys can later on, make all the changes and all. So I have a project object here. You've got all these things. Let me add a department field, which is a text field. Text department field. That is it.